Welcome back to the Weekly Close Live. Joseph and I are here every single Friday at 5:30 Eastern. Well, right now it's Eastern Daylight Time, Eastern Standard Time in the winter. Joseph, how are we doing this week?
Dave, it is Friday. I am off work, and as always, that's always a good time.
Yeah, Friday could not come fast enough this week.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. So as always, we'll get started with the closing numbers for the week. This is the Weekly Close Live, and as you know, that gives you time to plug anything you want, which is going to be market plays. And I am curious, is there anything more you can say about market plays yet, or is it still not so much?
I am still under wraps. All I can say is sync your portfolio because we've gone live with that messaging. I want to talk more about it. I really do. We actually just had a meeting today about how little I'm allowed to say.
Fair
But
enough.
I will say in the not too far off future, we will be releasing. I'm gonna say a few screenshots of some of the changes that we will be making before the end of the year.
Okay. With
That
that said, I
yeah.
do not want you to get in trouble, but definitely go and check out market plays. Lots of great things happening over there. And once we know, we will let you know, or well, Joseph will
Yeah,
let you know.
well, I was say I already know, and that's the knowledge is a burden.
Right. All right. So the closing numbers for the week, starting as always here in Canada with the TSX composite. Rough week for the Toronto Stock Exchange. Got beat up, closing well below that 22,000 that we've seen for several weeks now. Closing the week at 21,554. 5-day chart, not great, not great at all. So,
Was
but
that an all
that's
time
the stock
high?
market, right? Up and down.
Was it? So was that an all time high on Tuesday?
I don't think so.
The
No.
S and P 500 closed at an all time high on Tuesday, so I figured I'd ask.
Yeah, so Tuesday there, 21,697. No, the TSX has been above 22,000 for a few weeks now. So we'll skip right along to the S&P 500. I think had a better week. Closing down a little bit
Yeah.
today, but closing the week at 5,464. Wow, what a ride the S&P has been this year, right? Just
It
up and to the
absolutely
right, up and to the
has.
right.
Well, I mean, Dave, as any good investor will tell you, stocks only go up.
Right?
I mean,
It actually looks like that was on Thursday. The S&P was above 5,500 there for I don't know how long, 9:30 in the morning till 9:45, 10 a.m. But wow, 5,503. So the S&P, like you said, the stock market only goes up.
I'll tell you,
Time,
if
I
you
guess,
if
is
you
the
started investing in 2020 like the majority of Americans did, stocks only go up. Trust me.
right,
There's
right.
no bear markets aren't real.
If only that was true, right?
It's a fairy tale.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average closing the week at 39,150. Again, I'm on the 5-day chart. It had quite the week, starting Monday at 38,447. Had a dip there. Oh, that's all the. Why is it showing? I guess Friday. Um.
Maybe because Wednesday wasn't really a day. Maybe it's going back 5 trading days.
Oh, possibly that's
Because
okay.
U.S. markets were closed Wednesday.
That does make sense. Okay, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it looks like quite a good week on the Dow. Again, the stock market only goes up. A lot of green there this week on the Dow, right?
Red's not real.
It's not real.
Red's not real.
We'll
Unless you
just
and
remind everyone how I cannot afford to travel down to the United States and
ooh,
all my friends.
we're gonna fall below that 73-cent price point pretty soon.
I think we already have. I think this is actually. I think it may have went back up at some point this week. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
definitely looks
right
like it
there,
has.
72.93. Actually, look 72.74, 72.77,
So,
72.69. So
This is a warning to all Canadians out there. This is what happens when you cut rates before we tell you that it's okay.
Pretty much, probably right. Crude oil. Oil is always fun to look at on the New York Mercantile. A barrel of crude oil. You can get a barrel of crude oil for just a mere $82.34 USD. So it sounds like a great deal to me, right? Like, can I just get a barrel of oil and stick it in my backyard?
I don't know the Canadian laws against that, but I'm sure I can get away with it here.
I could probably do it here too. Like, honestly, I don't think anybody's gonna say you can't. Bitcoin. Wow, this in Canadian dollars obviously at 87,516. I finally decided I was going to take my own advice and try to start swing trading Bitcoin because it's been in this pattern for literally 5 months.
Can I ask you as a friend how that's going?
Well, not great so far. I bought it at 66 USD, and it's now down to 64. And I'm like, okay, good, just go back up to 70 so I can sell it, and then I can buy it back at 66. That's the pattern has been in for literally how long? Like 4 or 5 months.
Say like every crypto out there, if we could Elon Musk, if you could tweet about it just one time, just one Elon Musk tweet, and it's to the moon.
Yeah, that would help. Gold in USD closing the week at $2,334.70. Gold is never a bad idea. Obviously not financial advice, but do we ever look at the Russell? The Russell 2000 Chicago options.
See, I think we have every now and then, but we never really got into it because the Russ is a little. It certainly is an index.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyways, the Russell 2000 closing the week at $2,022.03 in USD. We'll jump over to the NASDAQ. Always fun.
Especially
closing the week 17,000. I just jumped over to the 5-day chart on the NASDAQ too. A lot of green there.
I wonder how much that dropped, because that Tuesday, Thursday Tuesday was when Nvidia became the world's largest company.
Right. So here's Monday at 17,910. There's a little dip on Tuesday at 17,801, but then somehow closed the week lower than that.
So yeah, because
Thursday,
Nvidia's been on
all the way up
slide.
to 17,932. Wow.
And then Nvidia's started going down.
Yeah.
Jensen, what are you doing?
A little bit of a dip here these last few days. Alrighty, let's get to our friends overseas. Where are we? Oh yes, our friends over there in England. The FTSE closing the week at 8,237 quid. You know I'm going to say it every week. Take whatever chance I get. I
always think of that Family Guy meme. He said it. He said the thing.
He said the thing. Looks like they had a good day on. I guess that's earlier today. No, Thursday. Nope. Thursday and opening Friday. Up to 82.69, and then quite a dip at some point today, 11 a.m. Friday, all the way down to 81.995, and a little spike today at 82.59, and closing the week at, like I said, at 82.37. And finally, we make it to Akito over there watching us on Saturday morning in Japan. Akito is real. Don't tell me he's not.
I've never told you that Akito wasn't real. I have just
asked me if Akito in the room with us right now.
Yeah, I have asked you leading questions to get you to admit that he's not real.
Nikkei over there in Japan, Tokyo closing the week at 38,596 Japanese yen. And again, the 5-day chart, wow, like just the 5-day chart's been all over the place on all of the exchanges, right?
Really, it's been an interesting week, to say the least. I mean, especially again here with U.S. markets closed Wednesday, but not many other places following suit.
No, the rest of the world
If
was open
anybody
on
else,
Wednesday, right?
yeah, that's a very U.S. specific holiday.
Yeah. And then just the final reminder that if I can't afford to travel to the United States just across the border, I also cannot afford to travel to Europe. The Canadian dollar to euro, a Canadian dollar is worth 68 euro or 0.68 euro. And those are the closing numbers for the week. Let's get into the rest of what we're going to talk about here, which is a whole lot of
I'm small.
nothing.
There's a couple little hits here and there, but you're totally right. It's we're in that part of the earnings calendar.
Okay, we've got a great comment here. Swing trading Bitcoin, bet on sports, far more outcome based, more fun to watch. Fair enough. Fair enough. I've bet on sports enough in my lifetime to know I probably shouldn't do that. Every time I think a team's going to win, they don't.
So what we're saying is Dave's going to launch a paid Discord for sports picks. He's going to make his own bet and tell everyone to bet the opposite.
That's not the worst idea. That's not the worst idea.
Dave had money on the Mavericks this week.
I know I didn't. But I probably would have, right?
I will tell you for a fact that I don't sports bet. I never have. I talked about it at one point for a YouTube video, but I never followed through because until recently that was not legal in my state. Yeah, I would have bet on the Mavs. I have also not watched one NBA game in like 4 years. So,
right. Yeah, I've bet a lot on hockey in my life, and
that's a Canadian sentence.
What's that?
That's a Canadian sentence.
Yeah, but I've gotten on a roll where I'm like, it's all good, and I've won like 3 in a row, and then like, oh, I'm like, let it ride, and then all of a sudden you just lose everything that you just bet.
Yeah, every gambler quits right before they win it all.
Welcome, Blind Luck Project. Great guy. He's been on the podcast. The only sports bet I win are the moonshots. Yeah, right. Okay, before we get into the nothingness of what this week was, let's talk about the weather because we need to fill some time. Is it bloody hot there? Because it's been bloody hot here this week.
It is bloody hot. It is going to get over 100 degrees Fahrenheit next week.
What does that mean?
Okay. So now that I've given it to you in a real unit, I got to see what that is in Celsius.
I'm guessing that's what, 35 to 38 Celsius?
38
Celsius. Oh man, that is
37.8.
Whew, that is bloody hot.
Yeah.
That is bloody hot.
Thankful who invented HVAC? He's probably who invented the HVAC? Willis Carter. You invented it in 1902, so I'm going to very safely assume you're dead now. Willis Carter. Shout out. You have made my life very livable for the entirety of the almost 27 years of it.
Right. Oh my goodness. 114 Fahrenheit. He must be. I think he's in the desert, Arizona, or somewhere like that.
Pretty confident Arizona. I think. I feel like I should know that, but I'm going to go with Arizona because you're right there with accidentally retired. Another phenomenal X account.
Okay,
but Dave,
Google.
It's a dry
there.
heat.
What is 114 in Celsius? This got to be like well over 40 Celsius.
It is 45.5.
Oh my God, that's like I honestly I would melt. I would turn into a puddle. I would no longer exist. I can't.
But Dave, it's a dry heat.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I feel better now because it's been like 31, 32. Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona. 31, 32 degrees Celsius here, which is I think around 90-ish, which is still bloody hot, right? 88. That's probably 88 for 31 and
yeah. Spot on.
32 is probably pushing 90s. And that's bloody hot, man. I could not imagine.
And
114.
it's just June too. We've got like 3 more months of summer left. Or I don't know. It's a blast furnace.
My goodness. The hottest I ever, about, I think 2, maybe 3 summers ago, we had a massive heat wave go through here. I don't know if it was around the end of July, beginning of August, and it was over 40, and was like the equivalent was 10. I think it was 108 Fahrenheit, which was just like it was basically just go to the lake and stay in the lake, right? Like that's all you can do. You can't do anything else.
Yeah, I wish so bad we had a pool.
Okay, we do
I
actually
don't have
have to get
space.
into, like I said, the whole nothingness of this week. I'm actually let's just quickly go through this week to show people that you probably should just click off now.
Hey, no. Subscribe, like the video, send a few comments in the chat, watch the whole thing, and then when we're done, watch it again, then click off.
Right. So we had Lazy Boy, which you just found out about
Yeah,
47
fun
minutes
fact.
ago.
They're publicly traded. Who knew?
Tuesday, you hit me on Tuesday with like, how are you not excited about CGNT? And I'm like, what?
No.
Like, I don't know either.
CRMT, America's Car Mart.
Oh, the other one?
Yeah, CG.
I
Yeah,
thought you were talking about this one, the
yeah.
Cognite.
I can't tell you what that one is either.
Thursday, a few things did happen. We had Winnebago. That sounds kind of interesting. Algoma, which is a Canadian company.
Kroger and Darden are semi interesting.
Yeah, Kroger, obviously. And then Friday, CarMax, FactSet. So, anyways, we'll get back to Monday. There was no Wednesday there because the U.S. markets were closed on Wednesday, and
Yep.
I will be 100% honest with you. I did not look on Wednesday to see if any Canadian companies reported earnings on Wednesday, and I highly doubt any of them did.
I could not tell you either. But yeah, if we want to go ahead and jump into Monday, I do want to hit Lennar because Lennar is always an interesting one because they're a home builder.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where they specialize. They're based out of Miami. I only noticed because we did Lennar 3 months ago for their earnings call because I think they jumped on it on earnings, or maybe they crashed on it. I don't know. They did something. Lennar's down about 5%, really about 4.5% for this week. They did beat earnings 338 actual, 324 estimated. Kind of just a bit of a mixed call because new home construction. I mean, it's going, it's happening, but I think for the most part, this call was just kind of what people expected.
Right.
Granted, again, hey, if I'm wrong, it's here. We have a lot of you in the chat. If I'm wrong about any of this, please correct me. But yeah, like it wasn't a bad call. It wasn't a great call. It just kind of happened. To add to the nothingness.
In the 30 minutes that you had to prepare, did you find out anything about Lazy Boy?
Yeah, apparently Lazy Boy like killed it this week. So I mean, let's back up real quick. So, Lazy Boy is up almost 50% over the last year.
Wow.
Which I guess kind of goes to the idea of everybody's a genius in a bull market.
Right.
Like you said earlier, bear markets do not exist. They're not real. Up about, but then you kind of dive in a little more. They're only up about 3.5% year to date, which actually they are up a little more than 12% over the last 5 trading days. I can't really say this week anymore because Wednesday, and they jumped 19%, or actually at one point 21% immediately after earnings. Lazy Boy sales are apparently up 95 cents a share actual, 70 cents a share expected. And then, like Dave said, the half hour I had to look into this earnings call, the big thing was Lazy Boy's expanding. And as we've seen in the last couple episodes that you and I have done, Dave, for once, we're seeing like true consumer discretionary. And I mean, Lazy Boy is definition of consumer discretionary. Nobody needs a Lazy Boy. Dad, if you're watching this, you don't need it. He keeps calling me because he just bought one.
Well, see, there you go. There's the proof in the pudding.
I just of the last 4 phone conversations I've had with my dad, 3 of them have been about his new Lazy Boy. But either way, that said, yeah, over the next, I think it's the next year, might be over the next quarter, Lazy Boy's opening 10 new stores and raise their expected growth and growth rate for the next year.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah,
no love, it's no love sack, but it's not bad.
I was going to ask if you're still holding on to your love sack.
No, that was last week, unfortunately.
I've honestly thought about doing that, like literally just for content, like just going out and buying 10 shares of Lovesack and like just YOLOing it into it, right?
Okay. Actually, let's hit quantum real quick. So I don't know what quantum is at all. Somebody please tell me.
Does anyone? Yeah.
Quantum's kind of funny. So quantum is down 35.75% this week.
That sounds like a lot.
That is
To be down in
after
1 week.
that is after the stock jumped 30% today.
That doesn't make sense.
It does not.
So how far were they down before they jumped today?
47-ish%.
Wow. Okay.
They I don't
and that's just on the week on the 5 day.
That's just, yeah, that's on the 5 day. I don't. It seems like they jumped almost 29% after earnings, or no, they jumped almost 30% before earnings, reported, and immediately fell 35%. This is the most wild ride I've ever seen on a stock chart. But
do we know what they do?
No. They manufacture
No,
computer
we have
storage
no idea.
devices.
We're just winging it here.
Look. I mean, okay. They have a 42.7 million market cap. This is not a large company. They're traded under $1 a share, up 18 or 17.5% year to date, down 64.25% over the past year, down 84. Almost 85% over the last 5 years, and down 99.4% since IPO in 2000.
Jesus.
So no, I don't know what this company is. It looks like they make flash drives primarily. And it looks like at one point they were pretty deep in the floppy disk.
Yeah, because everyone needs a floppy disk in 2024.
I want to go buy a couple and start showing them to my nephews and ask them, hey, what is this?
Can you still buy a floppy disk?
eBay exists, Dave. I guarantee if I try
you're
them,
gonna
I can find one.
You get a floppy disk. What was that old game, Oregon Trail or something on it?
I was who was it this week? So my wife has a younger sister, and I was talking to her on the phone this week, and I brought up VHS tapes. And I had to explain that to her because she'd never heard of it. And I was like, I'm not that old, but I'm not, but I feel 90. Okay, so to answer your question, floppy disks are still for sale, and they cost $1 a piece.
That seems expensive for something that nobody needs. Okay, with that said, we'll jump over to Tuesday again. What happened on Tuesday? Like, did anything happen in the markets this week?
So Car-Mart, America's Car-Mart, who I did kind of look up, they are a used vehicle dealership in the South and the Central U.S. is what I found online. They're out of Arkansas, actually. Stock's up 1.73% this week. Another company, 377.5 million market cap. So, that's like 6 quantums right there. And that's how we're going to start measuring things on this show, by the way, by quantums market cap.
Okay.
Stock's
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, stock actually has like an impressive run. They IPO'd back in 2002, April 1st, 2002. And they're up a little more than 800% since then.
Oh, so if you bought in 20 years ago, you've done okay for yourself.
You really have. That said, earnings were not great. Wall Street was expecting 89 cents a share, came in at 6 cents a share. So that is a huge. That's like an 80% earnings miss.
Did you just say 80 something, 80 some cents to 6 cents?
Correct. And
Did
the
you just
stock
say 80 some cents to 6 cents?
89 cents to 6 cents.
So only a difference of 83 cents. Okay.
Only.
Whew.
Casual, like 80-90% miss right there. Nothing too
Whew.
major. Stock
That's
is
rough. That's
actually
rough, man.
stock's up 1.75% this week for some reason. And the problem, this is such a small company. I couldn't find a lot of like news on their earnings call. Basically, there's just that it happened, and they missed revenue, and that they missed EPS, and that they sure did. That's really all I could find, and I hate to say that. Like there's no analysis at all in what I'm saying, but I just could not find one.
All right. Anything more for Tuesday? Did you look into any of these others? Because I did not. I don't know what they are. I've never heard of them. And
Well,
not overly interested in them, to be 110% honest.
if we're gonna just fill time for content, let's look up Cognite, since that's what you thought I was gonna look up. Cognite is a security analytics software company for governments.
Yeah, Kroger, that's Thursday. I think we are getting to that there.
We are going to get to Kroger. Kroger's like my one shining star this week.
The only shining star this week, to be.
No, there was that other one, Darden, because I'm an Olive Garden fan. That unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks is literally always calling my name.
Fair enough.
Cognite, security analytics software, apparently out of Israel, down 5% this week. -4 cents a share, actual -6 cents a share expected. I Googled this just now, and I cannot find a single article about it. So, stock's up 19.5% year to date, 35% over the last year. IPO'd in 2021, excuse me, and they're pretty down since then. Was this a SPAC? Oh well, so yeah, Cognite. I did not prepare anything because I thought I was going to go over Carmart.
Yeah, whole lot of nothing. Wednesday didn't happen in the United States, and then
believe me, as someone who worked Wednesday in the financial sector, it happened.
Thursday did happen. Before open, there was that. This is like the most action all week, right? On Thursday before open, Aurora, Accenture, Kroger, as we just mentioned, Darden, Gabo, Winnebago, 10 Limited. Curious what that might be.
I mean, hey, we have the time to look it up. Kroger was actually having a pretty decent week right up until earnings. Kroger was up about 7% right until market open on Thursday after they reported earnings. And right after earnings, they dropped about 1% to close down. Oh, God, you're going to laugh at this. 0.69% on the week. Really, I expected a reaction to that one. I'll take.
Well, it was just like huge drop, 0.6. Oh, 0.69. Okay. Yeah. No, I heard the point first, like point. What I was thinking, like that's such a small number, whatever. But now that I put the other two numbers together, I'm like, yeah, you were expecting my.
Ladies and gentlemen,
reaction.
if you'd like a podcast with maturity, may I recommend the Money Happy Hour?
Yeah, exactly.
But that said, so they did actually beat earnings slightly. $1.43 a share actual, $1.34 a share expected. And I mean, it was kind of like a bit of a mixed earnings call overall, as you saw. I mean, the stock was down, 0.69. That's basically flat. Digital sales up 8% year over year. Quarterly sales were $45.3 billion, slightly beating what Wall Street expected. Gross margins increased up to 22.4%. Did see some lower margins in a few things, mostly actually in the pharmacy, which was surprising to me, to say the least.
Right.
And they didn't raise, they didn't lower guidance for the next year. They just kind of said, yep, that sounds about right.
Interesting.
So it was. I mean, I hate to say it, there was an earnings call to skip. This was it because it wasn't a bad call, wasn't a good call. It just kind of happened.
Yeah. So again, we have nothing for this week, is what you're telling me.
Well, Darden was also not interesting.
What a way to sell it! Just quite the hook to keep those viewers right, interested.
I try my best. Darden up about 4% this week. Darden being the holding company who owns brands such as, I know they have Cheddar's, Olive Garden, Longhorn, and I know there's more. That's just the ones I can name off the top of my head. But yeah, big Darden fan because unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks will literally never not sound good to me. Big fan. That said, they actually did see a slight earnings beat, $2.65 a share actual, $2.61 a share expected. Bad news, and part of the reason why I keep bringing up Olive Garden is that they did announce that Olive Garden will once again be raising prices. The one thing I thought was super interesting, I don't have his name down. I don't know who the CEO of Olive Garden is. So can I look it up real quick? Ricardo Cardenas is his name. Okay. So,
quick side note, I do believe there are Olive Gardens in Canada, but in the larger city centers like your Toronto's, Vancouver's, probably Calgary, Ottawa, Montreal. Definitely not in the smaller or the mid-sized cities.
I believe you. But what I thought was like super interesting, so I usually like to make fun of CEOs for some of the dumb stuff they say on earnings calls. Like a few weeks ago, we made fun of Lyft's CEO when he said that work from home was the reason Lyft missed earnings. And that was like a month ago. This wasn't even, either way. But Ricardo, I think he goes by Rick, actually had something super interesting, which was that he said that fast food is so expensive right now, you might as well have a sit-down meal. And that's straight from a Yahoo Finance headline.
Right.
Basically arguing that check prices, your McDonald's, your Wendy's, your Burger Kings are so high right now, higher than we've ever seen them.
Yeah.
You might as well go to a fast casual place, like your Chili's, which Darden doesn't own. He didn't name drop, or kind of like an Olive Garden, because if you're going to spend this kind of money, you might as well go sit down and enjoy
the service and the atmosphere, as opposed to just kids going crazy in the playroom at McDonald's.
Do McDonald's still have playrooms? Is that still a thing?
Oh, definitely. I definitely know of a few of them around me. Yeah.
Well, now I gotta look it up. Either way, yeah. And he also actually I'm gonna shout out Tom Savings Captain here. Pasta and bread cost nothing. That's true. They really don't.
Next to nothing. They cost a little bit, but I get the point. They don't cost much. It's
compared to meat,
Yeah, exactly, and right.
He also shot out Cava and I believe Chipotle as well, saying that they're a nice mix of the fast food of McDonald's, because you go to Cava, you're in and out of there real quick, but also the quality of somewhere like Olive Garden, somewhere like Chili's, So kind of weird to hear him shout out other companies like that he doesn't own, but maybe a buy signal for Cava right there. At least they've earned some respect.
Right. While we're talking about this topic, I was going to bring it up after because we're going to try to kill time, but I'll just kill time now. I have a bone to pick with you because you're in the United States, so I'm going to blame you personally for it. So I've been hearing this on the radio all week, how in the United States, McDonald's is bringing back this $5 value meal for the summer.
It is?
What do you mean it is? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've been hearing about it all week because
this is the first I've heard of it. So.
Yeah, so I guess they're giving a few options of here's a $5 value meal. Kind of exactly what we were just talking about there, how fast food has become so expensive. But McDonald's is not offering the $5 value meal in Canada. And I'm just why wouldn't you do that? Right?
No, you're right. This is totally real. Beginning June 25th, which is Tuesday.
In a couple of days.
That's Tuesday next week, I think. Yeah, today's the 21st. That'd be Tuesday. Yeah, they're releasing that across the U.S. That comes with a McDouble or a McChicken, small fry, 4-piece chicken nugget, and a small soft drink.
I'd pay $5 for that all day long.
Man, I'm an American. How did I not hear about this?
Well, I think the reason I've heard about it because it's been on the radio all week because basically we're Canadians complaining that we're not getting it, and it's like, why McDonald's? Somebody at McDonald's right now is listening to this. I know you are. Please, can you just do this in Canada? I will
Just,
eat at McDonald's like 20 times this summer if you do that. Easily, guaranteed.
I'm not gonna name drop live because they didn't do it, but somebody pitched a content idea to me a while back, which was, what if you eat nothing but McDonald's food for 7 straight days, and each day, depending on the quality of the food, you give a different analysis on their stock.
That's interesting. It's kind of like Supersize Me, but with the
Yeah,
business, the stock analysis added in.
this was like a year ago, and I'm not going to name drop who pitched it to me. And for the record, I think it needs some tweaking, but I think the general idea is phenomenal. Like, I think that would be a banger YouTube video. But they didn't do it, and I'm kind of sad because I was really excited to watch it.
I think this is supposed to be ironically, McDonald's prices have gone up the least compared to most of their competition, Wendy's, Burger King, Five Guys, etc.
I didn't know that. I mean, Five Guys doesn't surprise me because, like, I can't think the last time I ate at Five Guys. It's just not affordable anymore. It's not realistic.
Right.
Like, it doesn't really. It's a pretty good burger, and you get like more fries than you ever wanted. But you go there. I mean, what is? I know. I'm trying to think. Last time we went to Five Guys would have been late 2022, and for just my wife and I, for 2 burgers and a side of fries, we spent upwards of like $35, and I was like, absolutely not, never again.
Yeah. Wow.
It's not worth it.
Okay. Thursday. Did you actually look into Algoma Steel,
No,
the Canadian company? Where I said to you yesterday on Twitter, I'm like,
you
I don't
did.
even know why they're on the graphic. Like they're trading under 10 Canadian dollars on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I don't get why they're even on this graphic.
Trading at exactly $7 right now in the U.S., down 3% this
Yeah.
week. We're surprisingly profitable actually, coming in at 7 cents a share actual, negative 1 cent a share expected. And once again, I am not finding any news articles other than the fact that they reported earnings.
Yeah. I did see they are based in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. So basically the beginning of northern Ontario is where Sault Ste. Marie is, and then yeah, that's all. Like there is a lot of mining in northern Ontario, so that's probably why they're based out of there. Well, let's just jump over to Friday, which again we have nothing. We have
Yeah,
CarMax and FactSet.
I don't know what FactSet is, but I do want to briefly hit on CarMax. It's like that one rare time that there's actually a semi-interesting Friday company. CarMax stock that does actually have a market cap of about 11.3 billion, so you know they've earned a little bit of respect. Stock's up a little less than 2% on the week, down slightly on the month, down almost 15% over the last 3 months, and down 6.5% year to date. Down, I'm keep saying down 8.5% over the last year, down 15% over the last 5 years. But you know, casually just up a little bit of about 9,100% since their IPO in 2000.
Did you just say 9,100%?
I sure did.
9,100%.
In let's see, I actually have it right here in front of me. On January 1st, 2000, CarMax IPO'd at 78 cents a share. As of market close today, they are trading at 71.63 per share.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, they're out of Richmond. I didn't know that. Hey, that's just like a little north of me.
When are we going to find one of these companies? Like, so again, like you always hear how, penny stocks are a bad play, penny stocks are a bad play. And for the most part, they probably are. But can you imagine buying 1,000 shares of that at at 78 cents or more, whatever, 5,000 shares at 78 cents, and just most people probably would not have held it for 20 some years, but
Oh no.
if you did, wow. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, hey, that right now there is a stock trading or IPO that's going to do that. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's out there. We just got to find it. But I
Yeah.
mean, to keep it on CarMax, a little 97 cents a share actual, 94 cents a share expected. A very, very mixed earnings call. Um, let's see here. Used vehicle sales were 75% of revenue for the quarter. It's like the one thing driving the stock right now. Auto finance, of course, nobody wants to finance with interest rates right now. And they did say, but the trends they saw in Q1 2024, they are encouraged looking toward the future. I don't think they officially raised their forecast, but they did say they're optimistic. And kind of just, as one more little note here, profit did tank 33% year over year because the used car market is insane right now.
Right.
I mean, it's been insane for the last several years, but especially, I mean, federal funds rate right now is like in the U.S. because no rate cut yet. It's what 5.25, 5.5%, give or take. So I mean, with an 800 credit score, you're still looking like what an 8-9% car loan more than likely. I mean, I don't work in the industry. Somebody at car dealership guy on Twitter is probably screaming at me right now. But yeah, nobody wants to finance that right now with those interest rates.
Yeah, definitely not, right? Okay, well, this has been the shortest week ever on the weekly close live. So,
Wow, we didn't even hit 45 minutes.
no, we
That's the
will, because I'm
first.
going to ask you a totally non-business related question. And I know you're in North Carolina, so and hockey means nothing to you, but right now the Stanley Cup final is happening.
It is.
The Florida Panthers have won, so it's a best of 7, like in baseball or basketball, right? Best of 7 series. The Florida Panthers have won 3 games. The Edmonton Oilers have won 2 games. Tonight is game 6. Does Florida win tonight, or does Edmonton force game 7?
So Florida Panthers, they're the Fort Lauderdale team, aren't they?
They're Sunrise, Florida, wherever that is.
Right outside of Fort Lauderdale, I think. Could be wrong about that, but I think. Why there's an NHL team there, I'll never understand. Like Dave, let me hockey ask you a question first. Why do the Florida teams keep winning?
That is an absolutely great question.
I feel like by geographic reasons alone, the Florida team should like lose more than half their games every year.
Yeah, so this is literally 5 years in a row that a Florida team has been in the Stanley Cup Finals. So Florida Panthers were in the finals last year.
I didn't know
that. The previous year, Tampa Bay was in the finals, and the previous 2 years, Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup. So,
yeah, here's where my American bias, I guess, really shows, or my unhockey bias. I learned from Dave recently that I lived in Tampa for 2 Stanley Cups. But I was in Tampa for 2 years, and during that time, the Lightning, Rays of the baseball team,
won the Lightning or the hockey team.
Yeah, won both years I was there, and I didn't know there was a Tampa Bay hockey team until Dave informed me of it.
Yeah, just how off the radar hockey really is in southern United States. Other than obviously, there's a few diehard fans.
Oh yeah,
you'd be surprised when you see like the rinks are full, so there's like 20,000 fans.
I believe it. And to be fair, though, I think the Lightning got the short end of the stick because they were competing with Tom Brady for everybody's attention.
Right. Yeah, but at this time was when Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay, right?
But to go back and answer your other question, Florida walks away with it tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised, but honestly, at this point, so here's the other caveat I didn't tell you. Florida was up 3-0 in this series already, so Edmonton has won the last 2 games.
It's all ratings. They're just trying to make it interesting. It's why the Celtics didn't sweep the Mavs. They got to make it interesting to get people to watch. Seeing a lot of inventory on car lots here, big change for I believe that.
Yeah.
My sister was working at a car lot from like 2019 to 2021, and she got laid off because they just had no inventory.
Yeah.
Versus I drive by them now and they're all full. I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm not questioning that either.
I'm not a sports betting guy. I will not put any money on any of tonight's games or any, especially hockey. Probably the sport in the world that I am. No, I'm not going to say the least familiar with because I don't even know the rules of cricket. But yeah, my money, my hypothetical money in this situation is on the Florida Panthers.
Okay, fair enough. I probably may agree with you. I'll have to join our paid Discord.
I have just been informed that Dave and I have a paid Discord. So,
Link is not in the description because we don't really have one. This is a joke. We're not doing that.
Come get me and Dave's hot trade tips.
Yeah, hot sports betting tips on that paid Discord where we will all lose money together.
Yeah, Dave. I don't know. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of brokies out there in the crowd who want just to sign up for our paid Discord and reach financial freedom with us.
Oh man. Well, this has been quite the week. Nothing overly exciting. We will get back into. I don't know what's on tap for next week either. It's probably going to be kind of slow again.
You know what? Let's find out real quick.
There might be something a little more interesting, but just bear with us. We will get back into the exciting stuff because it's just the cycle, right? We've been through this now. You know, we've been doing this 4 months, and it's just a cycle.
I like how you say "bear with us," like we're the one who control the calendar. Actually, next week we got a little bit. FedEx on Tuesday, Carnival on Tuesday, Micron on Tuesday or Wednesday, Paychex, General Mills, Levi, all coming in on Wednesday. Let's see who else we got. Nike on Thursday, McCormick on Thursday.
Yeah, so a lot more bigger names next week. So
Walgreens,
a lot more to talk about. A lot more interesting.
Yeah, Walgreens will miss earnings on Thursday. Yeah, just the usual.
Walgreens. What's going on there? We'll talk about that next week. When you said when they miss earnings, because we pretty well all know that they
it's not an if, it's a win.
All right, Joseph, again, thank you so much for joining me this week on the Weekly Close Live here on the Passive Income Podcast. Oh, we got another. Thank you so much for Blind Luck Project for chiming in this week and feeding the chat. FedEx is a good leading indicator.
It really is, though. It really, really is. Because, name an industry they don't touch.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? Everyone, whatever industry you're in, everyone uses FedEx, UPS, Purolator. Everyone needs that package overnight. I use FedEx my day job every day, all day, every day. So, as I was saying, thank you again so much for joining me again this week, Joseph. It's been a pleasure as always.
Oh, yeah.
And I look forward to seeing you again next Friday here on the Weekly Close Live. Please, everyone, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're following us on Twitter, click the follow as well. One last comment. Lots of business-to-business activity. Well, exactly.
I mean, yeah, that's, majority of what they do. But, yeah.
All right. Like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. If you're on Twitter or the other platforms, hit that follow button. And we'll see you again next week for the Weekly Close Live here on the Passive Income Podcast.